Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. If you are one of my regular viewers, you may have heard me mention my girlfriend Tracy. Tracy has been responsible for reviews like Ozma's Double Donkey Disc, or Thor's Ride of the Chariot, or a whole load of the power metal stuff. But I bring up Thor and Ozma there because those ones were purchased specifically because in a manner that she dubs, $5 or less. Uh, she either went into a pawn shop or into one of our local record stores, and she picked up. She'll go through the discount bins or whatever, right? Like the pawn shops, it's always like $5 or less for CDs. Especially going back 10 years ago when pawn shops were around a little more and CDs were around a little more in them. Not so much now. Anyways, the reason why I go into this long-winded story is sometimes, like those discs, you find something really kind of cool and interesting that I really enjoy. At least I found that I enjoyed. Sometimes you end up with Ben Kweller. That there would be where the sticker was, probably $5 or less. This is meant to look very DIY, just so you know. It's part of the aesthetic. If you open up the whole way through, it's meant to look like someone made it at home. It's not though. It's properly manufactured. It's a full on, properly produced, properly released, manufactured CD. This album very much kind of has a coffee house kind of vibe to it the whole way through. There's a few songs that aren't quite coffee house, they get a little heavy. Um, but it's really kind of a coffee house kind of album to me. That's what it really comes through as. All right, let me just get into it. First track up, How It Should Be, Shaw Shaw. It's an interesting way to open up the album. It sets a fair expectation for the album. I'm not a fan of the song. I think it's kind of. It looks like a song that'd be written by this guy. Okay, you see this picture here? See this? This accurately describes this here. That whole concept, you cannot judge a book by its cover. Okay, this here is a warning of what these songs sound like. And this back picture, okay? It's creative, it's artistic, it's cute, I like it. The wall on both sides, blah, 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 ha, 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 ha. Okay. They go out of their way to make this look like an indie art house coffee thing. The music sounds that way the whole way around, describes it. Not a fan of the first song. It sets good precedent, good warning. That's my point where I almost wanted to start tuning out. Okay, but we must persevere, and if we persevere, there's a few songs that aren't bad, I guess. Wasted and Ready. I am positive I have heard this song somewhere else before. I don't remember where it was. Wasted and Ready. I want to say it was like in one of the American Pie movies or one of those movies from that time period or something like that. It's got that vibe, that sound, it sounds like a lot of the stuff of that time. It's also one of the more upbeat, electric kind of sounding songs. One of the least coffee house sounding songs. But still would be played in, some little place. It's not something that you'd hear everywhere. It might be okay for roller skating too. track 3, we get into Family Tree. Family Tree is definitely that coffee house crap. Oh my god. Light, strummy, acoustic, little bit of storytelling in there. I like when certain bands do it. Some bands do it and it sounds really good. I very much enjoy City in Color, and that's very much part of their kind of shtick. This sounds just coffee house kind of stuff, you know. Like I spent a lot of time in coffee houses and stuff like that, and that's what this sounds like. This just sounds like coffee house stuff to me. After that, we go into Commerce, Texas. In Commerce, Texas, or it's Commerce TX. Sorry, I just assume it's Texas. I believe that's the state abbreviation. Canadian. Can't expect me to remember exactly what the U.S. state abbreviations is. Anyways, what I am affectionately dubbing Commerce, Texas is probably the heaviest song on the album, one of the heaviest songs on the album. It's one of the songs that does not fall under Coffee House. I actually enjoy this one a little bit. It's not a bad tune. I don't have an accurate description for it, really. Yeah, it's just a little more up there. Then we go into In Other Words. In Other Words, totally, 100% to me sounds like Ben Kweller not only knows who Krista Berg is, but thought he'd be clever, rip off a Krista Berg song, and no one would ever know. Well, I caught him. I caught him red-handed. And I believe the song I want to say that it is that he's ripping off is Borderline. Like, it really, I'm pretty sure it's Borderline that I'm hearing in there, and it really, really, to me, rings out. And there's been a few times where I've kind of sung along with it, and yeah, could be coincidental. Or maybe I found something. Christopher, please get in contact with me. We'll discuss it. Ha 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 ha. Yes, yes. Alright, at this point, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I got to stop every couple songs and remind myself which songs are which as I'm going here. Because I really, this album, it's not my album. Definitely not my type of album. Next track up is Make It Up. I don't like Make It Up. Absolute. Or, sorry, hold on. My bad, sorry. Walk on Me follows In Other Words. And Walk on Me is, once again, kind of back to that total coffee house shtick vibe. Moving on with that. Then we get to Make It Up. I don't like Make It Up. It just, no, I don't like it. What my son used to say when he was like 2, 3 years old, can't like it. Can't like it. Alright. Okay, and that's followed up with No Reason. I like No Reason. It's generic. It is. It's No Reason's a little bit generic. Sounds very much like all those bands. Once again, back to that American Pie kind of sound in there. That certain amount of fuzz, those certain kind of nasally vocals, certain just when it was on an upbeat guitar-y number. And No Reason's pretty cool. I like it. It is upbeat. It's a good song. I personally enjoy it myself, you know. But yeah, it's nothing that stands out. After No Reason, we've got Lizzie. Lizzie is definitely, once again, kind of that artsy stuff, but this one's not so much coffee shop. This one feels a little more poetic to me, kind of, sort of. I like Lizzie. Lizzie is this white boy trying to play the blues. That's what Lizzie is. Okay, you see this white boy? You know how you'd expect him to play the blues based on this picture here? That's how this sounds. Sorry, I don't mean to be a stereotype. But, yeah, you know, it's but it's not bad. It's blues. It's still blues. I like blues, and Lizzie's got a good blues kind of vibe to it. It's cool to me that way. I like it that way. It might even be one of the better songs on this album because of what it's like and how it's. Honestly, it's one of the most different songs on this album. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little caveat in there. Um, the every song on here is actually pretty different. I do like there is kind of an experimental difference between songs, so it's not totally pigeonholable. You know, as much as I say coffee house, it's not all coffee house. You know, as much as I say kind of cliche that American Pie kind of thing, it's not entirely that. But Lizzie is honestly, I think, one of the most distinct ones on here because the only one that sounds slightly out of place time wise. You know, because it does honestly sound bluesy-ish. All right, after that we got Harriet's Got a Song. Harriet's Got a Song is the last of the upbeat electric guitar driven kind of songs. It's all right. I'm not a fan. And then the album finishes with Falling. No. No. Not a fan again. Not a fan of it was okay. It's not a I wouldn't have picked it to finish of this album. No Reason would have been the best song on here to finish the album with. I really think that way, you know, it would have left it on a upbeat number, really a true upbeat number. People coming back, but Ben Kweller, Sha Sha. That's this album. Chances are I will never listen to this album again. There are some charming elements to it. All right, there are definitely some charming elements to this album. There's some stuff in here sounds Beatle-esque. You know, there's a Beatle-ish kind of vibe to it. And a few, and I want to say kind of like that earlier kind of Beatles stuff. You know, pre-psychedelic. There's a few in here where I honestly think Weezer. But that's it. You know, I've already mentioned the Krista Berg one, and that's it. It's a lack of originality on here. You know, unless you're really paying attention to the lyrics, which I read them once going through. I've looked at it's nothing really kind of stand outish to me. So we're leaving it at that. Ben Kweller, Sha Sha. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, get notifications that way. Otherwise, peace, love, and take care.